David Goins is here, the band director at Frankfort High School. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
But he's wearing his Wesley Academy of Music hat today, right? You're the founder and director, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So you all have an event coming up on Friday evening, Night of Broadway. Let's go ahead and give people the broad strokes, the details of the event first.
Yeah, it's a Night of Broadway, and I think this is about the third or fourth time we've held this type of event over the past, 5 or 6 years. It's basically just a potpourri of some of the most talented people that we have here in town. That I know, and we come together and put together a song or two that we love to sing or have always wanted to sing, and we gather and just put together a program and put it together and ask people to come and see it, and then as part of that we try to hit them up for a donation. So This year we have a really special guest. We try to do something extra special each year, and this year we have a special guest, a composer and singer and pianist from L.A. Her name is Brooke DeRosa, and she's a friend of one of the other people performing, and she found out about it and loved it, and she said, I'd like to be a part of that. So
cool.
It's a really exciting event. It's held down at the Methodist Church, First Methodist Church, down on Washington Street, and we don't ask for an admission charge. It's just come as you are, but bring the checkbook and just go ahead and sign it and leave it blank. But we don't want to keep people from coming. We want part of this is about awareness and just staying in front of the public, and just let's all be together and hear some good music.
If you did make a donation when you came, what would those funds go to?
Whatever they go to the Wesley Academy of Music, which is a mission that I founded back in 2017. I think is kind of I like the backstory to it. For years, I worked at First Methodist Church as the music director, and we have a very musical congregation there. And many of the people were like, "Hey, let's do a musical. Let's do a musical as a part of the church." I'm like, I don't want to do that. It's a lot of work, and it raises a lot of money. Those events do. I said, well, okay. I'll tell you what. If we did a musical, let's take the money and let's put it towards something that would really positively affect the community. So, and I had this idea in the back of my mind for many years. So, long story short, we decided to do Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which has a biblical story to it. And we the church did some sermons and things around that story. So it was a kind of a pretty neat event. And from that, we started the foundation. We raised about $8,000. And the Wesley Academy of Music is my way of giving back to the community, which I grew up in, by giving free private music lessons to kids who are on free and reduced lunch in our community, which is pretty much everyone. So it's a very large population. I teach in the public schools. I mean, pretty much everybody's qualifies for that at some level. So it's just a way for, at some point as an adult, you realize I'm a consumer. I don't want to be a consumer. I want to give back. And I looked back at my growing up here in town and realized that all the people along the way who had helped me and who had gotten me to the point where I could be where I am and have the life that I have, and I just want to give it back. So this is just a great way of doing it. I don't build houses very well. Habitat for Humanity would not be my thing, but I can play an instrument and I can teach. So let me be a mentor.
Yeah, it takes all sorts, and it's nice when you can find a way to take your skills and your talents and turn them into your ministry. So it sounds like a great cause.
And Wesley Academy of Music, and how can they get involved in that or find out more information?
Wesley Academy actually has its own website, wesleyacademyofmusic.org. We don't keep it as updated as much as we probably should, but it's a very mom and pop organization with my wife and I pretty much run it. We have a bevy of teachers who come in who are Frankfort natives, all of them, who are professionals, who great mentors who come back and teach. But they can go to that website. They can contact us there, and we make donations there as well.
Oh, okay.
But it takes about $30,000 a year to run the organization, and there's no grant funding just yet. So we'll just go out and beat the bush and say, hey, can you help us?
Yeah. And so you accept donations there, and then also probably find instructors and people, but then also like kids who want to be a part of it, right?
Yeah, if they want to be a part of it. I'm a local music educator, so I reach out to the other educators and say, hey, we're going to enroll. Kids apply. I try to run it a little bit differently because the money is donated, I make sure that the kids learn accountability. Like, there's somebody gave this money for you. We want you to have, you need to show up. We have attendance rules. At the end of the semester, they play a jury in front of the teachers to make sure I'm progressing.
Yeah.
At the end of the spring semester, they even play a scale exam. So we're trying to make it a little bit, not intense is not the word, but make sure that they understand this is what, to get really good at something, this is what it takes. And we want you to have the tools and the resources while also providing them the mentorship, check in with kids, make sure that, we've had several occasions over the past few years where the teacher, we fill in the gaps the schools maybe can't. We'll find out a situation with a child that's going on that maybe nobody detected. So then we'll contact the resource teacher at the school and say, hey, I'm not sure if this kid's in a good place. You might want to check on them. So that's our primary goal. Secondary goal is the music.
Yeah.
But it's just a way for us to, I'll tell the story. My parents, God love them, were great people and provided us a situation, but my father never made it past the 9th grade. My mother worked several jobs. And our family just didn't have extra money. We weren't poor, but we didn't have all the other money. And when I look back, I realized there were all of these people along the way who were filling in the gaps. And they saw something in me that now I have a life that I never could have imagined, and my kids have a great life. So I'm here to give back and to show that people care, and we want them to have a good life.
Yeah. Well, what an excellent way to reach kids through music, and kids are musically talented, and I think when you mentioned providing that structure a little bit, like they have to at the end of the year give a performance in front of a jury, it almost harkens to what it would be like if they did go into sort of a music program.
That's exactly
or something.
the point.
Yeah, it's kind of a crash course.
That's exactly the point. And we're not out to, most of these kids, unfortunately, we've been doing it since 2017. We took a year off for COVID, but every year, I don't think we've had but maybe 5 or 6 who have been with us, though, that entire time, which is the ultimate goal. Yeah. We see a lot of turnover, which happens, but we're hoping that at least we can plant a seed along the way, and that they can harken back and go, well, I learned that through the Wesley Academy. They taught me that I got to show up every week, and that's a lot of the life lessons is show up.
And that's skills you can take to music, you take to sports, whatever commitments you get involved in. Right. Absolutely,
exactly right. Show up.
Yep, you're right.
Is it more difficult now at all to teach a kid to play an instrument? Have you found any difference in the patience level between kids now?
A little bit, especially I started this 30 years ago. There's a social media has affected that,
and just technology, right? Because I find with my kid, it was hard for my older kid. It was hard for her when you can get on the iPad and play the piano.
Right.
It's so easy. Right. But if you had to try to actually learn how to play the piano, it's like you got to actually put in the time. So it's difficult for them not to have that instant gratification of I can do it.
Right. Exactly right. And I think one of the biggest things that we teach is self-discovery. Like you're giving me 30 minutes, and let's find out who you are. We're going to find out that through you playing your instrument and you can't get that through 2-second flip through TikTok or whatever. You have to find a time to find out who you are, whether it's reading a book, something that slows you down long enough to look introspectively. So I think what we offer in this community is a diamond in the rough, in that the pure nature of learning a musical instrument by itself forces you to slow down. It's very organic to who we are as humans. So I can't say enough about it, and I hope that we can do as much as we can. That's all we can do. I mean, we've had in the past, usually we average about 25 to 30 kids that we provide lessons for in a year. And again, a few of them will fall away, or we'll say, "Hey, look, you're not doing your work." I pay the teachers whether the kid shows up or not. So that makes sure that I have quality teachers. And again, the teachers are from Frankfurt: Quinn Blanford, Ellen Burt, Noah Bartley. These are people who have grown up here. So they can talk the talk with the kid that they're with. They understand the problems that they're going through, and they also show them, "Hey, I made it." So we try to hold the kids accountable and pick them up and show them something that maybe they never would have discovered without.
I think it's such an excellent service that you all are doing
Yeah,
in the
hope so.
community. Yeah.
Diamond and a hidden gem is definitely a good way to put it. Yeah.
Well, let's hit the details again. If folks want to
Yep.
help out, and there's an excellent opportunity to do so Friday night.
Friday night, 7 o'clock. There's a pre-concert talk.
I saw that. I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. I will sit down with our guest, and she and I will just have a little Q&A. And so the audience is welcome. Again, there's no admission. Just show up. There's no seating. Just sit down and enjoy the evening and be in the moment. That's what we ask people to do. We'll have a little talk with her for probably about 45 minutes and find out more about her. And then the show happens, and you will be surprised. The level of talent is phenomenal. And you'll see people, our Master of Ceremonies is my childhood friend and our local pediatrician, Dr. Bradley Chase. And he might sing in this. He's extremely talented performer and teacher. He taught some trombone lessons for us this year
that's
as
cool.
well. So it's great for when the kids see, and we as a community see everyone together and doing something like this. So it's going to be great. And Cable 10 will be there as well.
That's right. Yeah, we'll be there. Any other selections from the evening that you want to tease people about?
There might be some Phantom of the Opera that you will see, and maybe a little Beetlejuice and some oldies from the 40s and 50s. It's just a potpourri.
Yeah,
and
that
some great.
awesome.
There'll be some good kids involved as well. So
That sounds so good. David Goins, thanks so much for being here. Before we let you go, question of the day. Oldest piece of clothing that you still wear.
You both kind of referenced being a band director. Every year we had a band T-shirt, right? So my oldest is probably a band T-shirt that we have them from years back. I know mine earliest one is probably from the late '80s. But ironically, I would wear them, but I don't wear them because my 18-year-old daughter wears them. It's chic for her, and then she wears one. Actually, she has a Franklin County band T-shirt that was actually my brother's, which I wore until she stole from 1983.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
That's
and she
pretty
still
good.
wears it.
That's pretty
good.
good.
We've talked about vintage is super
That's her
in
thing.
right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's she's getting a lot of cred. I'm sure from her friends.
1983 says Franklin County band. She wears it.
I bet it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, David Goins, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for letting me be
Founder
here.
and director of Wesley Academy of Music. Again, that event is Friday night. At 7 o'clock, First United Methodist Church. Check it out.
Thanks. Thank you.